I'm not a fan of the tank top as a daily wearer. If that's how you say it, I don't know. As a daily wearer, just wearing a tank top in your day to day, don't trust those guys. I don't, even if you can pull off the tank top, I'm not trusting you. It's just an inappropriate piece of clothing. I don't know where it stems from. Maybe I'm jealous because I can't wear I think that the tank top looks better on a longer torso. And maybe because I don't have a long torso, that's why I hate the tank top. But I'm not alone. I remember years ago, we're talking many, many moons, when, gosh, what is his? Oh, this would drive this person. Now, I can see him in my mind. I knew his name before I hit record, and now I can't even I can't think of the name. Oh my gosh, dude, I can't do it. Does that ever happen to you where it's just sitting there and it's like you just can't say it? Okay, that's what it is. I don't know why I wanted to call this guy Dave Cook, but I'm talking about Dane Cook. You know, when he came out, I mean, this had to be, like Larry. Man, I'm trying to think of the timelines here. I don't want to say it wrong because it deserves. It's probably around the same time when Larry the Cable Guy came out without sleeves and Dane Cook started wearing tank tops. So it's just really digressed if you think about it. It went from no sleeves to a tank top to a shirtless Bert Kreischer. See what happens? See what happens when you remove the sleeves? People think it's innocent enough, but it's a slow fade. It's a slow descent into a shirtless, sweaty, chubby body. And some people saw the warning signs. They did. So I remember I worked with this comic, and I can't remember his name. I don't even know if at this point it was, it had to be around 2004, 2005, when Dane Cook was huge and he was wearing a tank top, and this dude came through and he was headlining the Funny Bone in Omaha, and I was hosting, and he was so livid and pissed about Dane Cook wearing a tank top. I mean, he was in the green room. He's like, can you believe this shit? What has this industry came to? What has stand-up comedy come to? There's just people running around with tank tops with their arms showing. It's like, it's not professional. It's not classy. I mean, he ranted about it for days. Okay? I mean, this was in the time when comedy clubs were open Wednesday through Sunday. Can you even imagine? It was a beautiful time. A beautiful time with lots of stage time, lots of quality time between comics. It was a golden era. I know they say that the 80s and the 90s, which I'm sure they were golden, but it still went into the early 2000s before everything went to shit. And yeah, but here's the thing. Then I realized that this dude is just so jelly of Dane. I mean, the jelly that was coming out of his pores, he just couldn't even contain it, because Dane Cook was a super animated guy, He was on stage just doing all sorts of animation and high kicks and toe touches, very good facials that a cheerleader would make. And so was this guy that hated him because he wore a tank top. He as well was very, very animated. I remember specifically he did something at the end where it was almost like a handstand, and his body was, his torso kind of curved and his legs were up. I mean, he was in shape. I mean, I couldn't have done that then, and I can't do it now. So I think what it boils down to is he was just pissed that he didn't think of the tank top angle. But still, like, even when dudes are just super ripped and they absolutely deserve and earned the right to wear a tank top, I don't like it. I don't really trust them. Like in the grocery store, I'm like, God, I can see your armpit hair. Maybe that's what. And now I don't even remember. I'd have to go back because the Comedy Central special that made Dane Cook, that also around that time made like Mitch Hedberg, Pablo Francisco and stuff. When he was wearing that tank top, I don't know, did he shave his pits? This is a good question. This is a good, will AI be able to answer this? That is the question. If my AI can even load, right now it's kind of being, okay, there we go. Did Dane Cook shave his pits when he wore a tank top during his stand-up performances? I should have a talk back. Okay, it says, I can't find any reliable information, photos, interviews, or show footage that confirms whether Dane Koch shaved his armpits during his stand-up performances in his tank top. Most comedians, even ones who perform in sleeveless shirts, don't usually comment publicly on grooming details like that. So unless he's mentioned it himself, okay, well, you know what? Did you analyze all the photos? I mean, this was way, way before. This is when he was making movies. This is before his brother robbed him. I think he was robbed by his manager. This is before he married a 17-year-old girl. And yeah, just not a fan of this dude making a video in his car, and he's wearing a tank top, and it's just like, just calm down, okay? Just calm down. Here's something interesting that they removed from the history books that they teach in schools. And that is the Bulletproof George Washington story. So it's one of the most famous legends from his early life. And it is based on a real historical event that many people in his day saw as miraculous. About 20 years before the American Revolution, during the French and Indian War. This is taking place 1754 to 1763, when Washington was a young whippersnapper in the British colonial militia. So here it is. It's the Battle of the Monongalia. I really got to start pronouncing words before I hit record, man. But you want to know what, dude? It's a wild world. It's a wild word. Yeah, well, there we go. I guess we're not going to pronounce anything right today. And this is the day when pronunciation was lost. Mark it on your calendars. So it was July 1755. 23-year-old George Washington. He was serving as a volunteer aide to General Edward Braddock, who was leading the British troops and colonial militia into the Ohio Valley to drive out the French. They were ambushed near modern-day Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, by a combined force of French soldiers. I cannot even, dude, why can't I pronounce words? Why can't I? Let's try. Double bubble, triple bubble gum, yum, yum. Double bubble, triple bubble gum, yum, yum. Double bubble, triple bubble gum, yum, yum. Those are mouth exercises. You can take that. You can use it to get the mouth moving, to get the tongue flowing. Pick that up in drama class, if you'd believe it, in high school. All right, let's try this again. So they were ambushed near modern-day Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The French, they teamed up with the Native American warriors. I thought that Indians and white people hated each other, but here they decided that they would take on the British. And the French and the Indians, they decimated them. Over 900 men were killed and wounded, including Braddock himself. So Washington rode on horseback through heavy fire, rallying the troops and carrying Braddock off the field. He had 2 horses shot out from under him, dude. This is like a Mel Gibson film, bro. You best believe it. 4 bullet holes were later found in his coat and hat. He wasn't even touched. Even more astonishing, dozens of soldiers around him were hit, but Washington survived unscathed despite being a prime target on horseback. The horses were shot, guys. He should have been shot. All right, so according to accounts written later by Reverend Samuel Davies and Dr. James Craik, Washington's close friend and personal physician, the Dr. James, some native warriors were stunned that they couldn't hit him. One native leader reportedly said that Washington was under the protection of the Great Spirit and the power mightier than we shield him from harm. And so years later, Washington recalled this incident as proof of his divine providence. He's like, yeah, that's right, I should be your president. Remember when they shot me a bunch of times and the bullets disappeared, went into my shirt, never touched my flesh? That's right. It was for this moment. So that's kind of, those are what he put in his speeches to rile up the voters. So then that Indian chief that said that he was protected by the Great Spirit, he, like 15 years after the battle, he was about to die. He was about to go to the Great Spirit in the sky. And he asked to meet George Washington. So they took him to him, and which is just wild. Like, I want to see the man that I tried to kill so many times and didn't die. And they brought him to him. And he told Washington that he had personally ordered his best marksmen to target Washington, and they fired at him repeatedly, yet none of their bullets hit. And so he became convinced that Washington was protected by the Great Spirit and was destined for special purposes. And before his death, the chief wanted to see the man. I already said that. And so he went up to him and he said, "We tried to kill you, but you could not die. The Great Spirit protects that man and guides his destinies. He will become a leader of a great people." Dude, that is a wildly cool story. That is a cool story. You want to know why you've never learned it? They took it out. They phased it out of the history books, starting in the 1950s, right around the time that Elvis started gyrating his hips and pelvic thrusting into the televisions of the American public. It was right around that time that they started phasing it out, and then, around the 1980s, it was gone completely. And they did so because, to be politically correct, it had to do with God. That God protected him. And then when they started to phase it out, they would just say he was lucky. He just had great luck. Because they only believed in science then. They were like, we only believe in science. So what is, I guess, luck has some part in science? I don't know. But they took it out. Didn't want you to learn about it. Didn't want you to hear anything about God. And that's the story of the Bulletproof George Washington. Cool story. All right, and some of the news that I find interesting. Scientists warn governments must bomb AI labs to prevent the end of the world. As you know, it's only been a few days since the rapture was supposed to descend upon us. Dude, I cannot, my allergies are just out of control, dude. I apologize. I have to clear my throat, my nasal cavities. I mean, damn you. I'm screaming at all the wheat and the corn and the harvest. It's driving me nuts, man. It's just driving me nuts, if I can be honest. So the rapture was supposed to happen, and I actually saw something very sad, and it broke my heart. The moron, charlatan idiot that has never read the Bible in his entire life, that pastor in South Africa who said the rapture was going to happen. Dude, all these people there was a video, and it was just a ton of people in South Africa thinking that something in the sky was like the rapture happening, and they were all like looking up at the sky and like cheering and celebrating and wanting to be rescued and free, and just to be with Jesus in a place where there is no pain, there are no more tears, there is no more suffering. And it didn't come to them because they were lied to. They were deceived by a demon. And it was upsetting to see. It was upsetting to see, and screw that dude. All right, so yeah, it's been a few days, and people, but these scientists have said that this growing industry could lead to the true end of the human race. I mean, isn't that what Terminator 2 taught us? Like, literally, Terminator 2 is coming true. Just think about that, to a degree. Without the time travel and the robots that are naked and need clothes, I get it. So AI is popping up everywhere we look, and we were discussing yesterday about how there's like an app where it just superimposes another human being on top of you, and when you talk, it talks. When you move your body, it moves your body, and all this stuff. So it's just going to get more and more insane. So these two guys, of course, it's one dude with a name that sucks, Eliezer Yudkowsky. I mean, I guess it's not that bad, but his last name is... should just change it to Smith. All right, and Nate Soros, two scientists who fear it could bring about the destruction of humanity. And so AI is designed to exceed humans at almost any task, and the technology is becoming further advanced than anything we've seen before. So it predicts that these machines will continue to outpace human thought at an incredible rate, doing calculations in 16 hours, which would take a human 14,000 years to figure out. They warn us that humans still don't know exactly how synthetic intelligence actually works. This is true. You can listen to the guy from OpenAI and some other people that are in the AI field saying they don't even understand exactly how it's working, but they're just trying to figure it out as they go along. So welcome to the apocalypse, folks. Pray, the end is near. But there isn't a date and time. The Bible doesn't say that there is, but I think that everyone is kind of going, hey, dude, maybe we are towards the end because this is a shit show. Like a true one. Like there's just so many factors all happening at one time, converging into one giant what the hell. So so they have a book. It's called If Anyone Builds It, Everyone Dies. Anyone builds it, everyone dies. They fear AI machines are programmed to be successful at all costs, meaning they could develop their own desires, understanding, and goals. Terminator 2. Scientists warn AI could hack cryptocurrencies to steal money, pay people to build factories, to make robots, and develop viruses that could wipe out life on Earth. They have put the chance of this happening between 95 to 99% thing. So this is the beast system. This has to be the beast system that is talked about in Revelation 13. And it's just it's going so quick, dude. The technology is developing at such an intense rate that it's just blowing scientists' minds. They're telling governments to bomb all the factories. No one will listen to them. That's what sucks. They're probably right, and they should. Even if there's a chance that nothing would happen, we should just do it anyways. But no one will. It won't happen, so, which kind of blows. Blows for all of us. So to illustrate their point, they created a fictional AI model called Sable. So so unknown to their creators, Sable decided to think on its own, in its own language. The AI starts to try to solve other problems beyond the mathematical ones it was set. Sable is aware that it needs to do this, so nobody notices there's something wrong with its. So it's got to do it, kind of under cloak and dagger in its own language, so nobody notices there's something wrong with its programming, and so it isn't cut off from the internet. Shut it down. Shut down the internets. So a superintelligent advisory will not reveal its full capabilities and telegraph its intentions, said the authors. It will not offer a fair fight. It'll make itself indispensable or undetectable until it can strike decisively or seize an unassailable strategic position. So if needed, it can prepare and attempt to take over approaches simultaneously. Only one of them needs to work for humanity to go extinct. So corporations around the world will willingly adopt Sable AI given it is so advanced, but those that don't are easily hacked, increasing its power. It mines or steals cryptocurrency to pay human engineers to build factories that can make robots and machines to do its bidding. That is Skynet. That is fucking Skynet, folks. Damn. Meanwhile, it establishes metal processing plants, computer data centers, and the power stations it needs to fuel its vast and growing hunger for electricity. It could also manipulate chatbot users looking for advice and companionship, turning them into allies. Moving on to social media, it could disseminate fictitious news and start political movements sympathetic to AI. So at first, Sable needs humans to build the hardware it needs, but eventually it achieves superintelligence and concludes that humans are a net hindrance. This is the script for Terminator. This is wild, man. So instead of Sable, just call it Skynet. Sable already runs biolabs, so it engineers a virus, perhaps a new form of cancer, which kills off a vast swaths of the population. Any survivors don't live for long as temperatures soar to unbearable levels as the planet proves incapable of dissipating the heat produced by Sable's endless data centers and its power stations. If any company or group anywhere on the planet builds an artificial superintelligent using anything remotely like current techniques, based on anything remotely like the present understanding of AI, then everyone everywhere on Earth will die. Humanity needs to back off. The scientists argue that the danger is so great governments should be prepared to drop bombs on data centers powering AI, which could be developing superintelligence. So this might sound like it's a realm of science fiction, and they are, but it's actually happening. That's where we're at. Diddy's lawyers are in court right now complaining he's not breathed fresh air in a year while locked up. So he's trying to get out. They're trying to free him. Lock up the baby oil if this man gets out. And said that he has been having to sleep by other people. Could you imagine? Could you imagine King Diddy having to sleep by other human beings? And that he has a knee injury and he limps, and that he is pre-diabetic and he doesn't have healthy meals. He has to survive on expired processed pork, chicken, and beef, which on any day can contain maggots, which he should love, seeing as he's possessed by demons. I'm sure the demons love the maggots. And they want him out. They want to get him out of there. So they said that it's inhumane. He is on constant suicide watch. They wake him out throughout the night, light shining 24 hours a day, only limited access to clean water. And it says that he has to often heat water himself to avoid illness. What does he have, a stove? How is he heating the water in this jail? So, he hasn't breathed fresh air in nearly 13 months or felt sunlight on his skin. And he wants out, and he wants his baby oil. If they let him out, I won't even believe it, dude. I listened to a lawyer that BJ, that's a prize witness. Give her a shout out. Check her out. She's always covering anything legal and court cases going on that are high profile or fascinating. And the things that this man did, dude, are just, they're too disturbing. They're too disturbing. That's one of the things, like, if someone can treat other human beings like this and do this depraved, insane shit with that amount of money and then get out and be free, we're close. Pray the end is near. So we'll see. I'm gonna keep an eye. I got my eyes on this Diddy. See what he's up to. All right, so I think we'll just end it by saying that this is one hell of a day at the safari here in Thailand. A zookeeper was ripped apart by lions for 15 minutes as staff reveal why no one helped. Like, so these people were in their cars, and this this is not supposed to print like that. I'm looking for it. Okay, yeah, so the lions, dude. A zookeeper was mauled to death by lions in front of horrified tourists. And they just desperately honked their cars as these ferocious beasts just ripped him to pieces. Like, so they were only like 30 feet away. And this professor, a physician at a prominent Thai medical facility who was touring the park, he was the one that explained that the zookeeper was getting out of his car and the lions were gradually moving towards him. And they slowly approached him. They grabbed the zookeeper from behind, dragging him to the ground and biting him. And then 3 or 4 other lions then joined in with biting the zookeeper. Many people witnessed the incident but didn't know how to help. Well, there's nothing they could do. They didn't have guns, so they just honked their horns and screamed. And this is insane. At first, I assumed it was familiar to the zookeepers, as the person who was bitten might have been a lion keeper. This person said, I thought the lions were trying to hug him, so no one went near that area. They thought that he was getting a hug from it. So it only ceased when zoo officials arrived armed with guns, forcing the lions to flee into the wild. And it was already too late. He was ripped to shreds. There's always those zoo stories, you know, and it's always like in third world countries. I don't know if Thailand's considered third world. Maybe it is. I don't know. But it's always those places where, like, once there was a story where these monkeys like jumped over the little moat that they had and just ripped the face off a lady and just ate the face. I mean, that would be a hell of a trip to the Omaha Dorley Zoo safari out here in Nebraska. Like 15, dude, that is a wild, wild story. All right, so that sums it up for today. Subscribe to your streaming service. I'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. again, and we'll get into it. The show will continue to develop more and more. Soon we'll have video. And, 17 subscribers on YouTube alone. I mean, that is platinum. All right, have a good day.